Raren, you enjoyed the Commander bands so much last time, we're going to do it again. You got time for some more?
Yes, that's your intro, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
okay.
We're already here. What? Is that not my usual intro? Oh,
no, usually right. You go, hold on. Hey, everybody, this is Mesa Falcon Guy, and you say something about what you're doing, and then you go, hello, Raren, and then I say hi awkwardly, and then, yeah.
I'm trying a full immersion thing. I was told this would improve my YouTube algorithm ability, which is definitely a word. You know what? Let's just shut up and look at this card.
Okay. All right. Okay, so hold on. This is if it's banned in Commander. That's what we're doing.
Yes. Okay. This is if it's banned in Commander.
Okay. Thassa's Oracle. Thasa's Oracle. Something one of those. What? Sure. What's she looking at, by the way? What is that? That must be the Oracle.
I don't know. A pearl. But you had it right.
Which one? The Thassa's?
Yeah. There you go.
Thassa's. Okay. 2 blue. When this enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. I'm going to ask you what that means in 1 second. Put up to one of them on the top of your library and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. Oh, each blue mana in the mana cost of permanents you control counts towards your devotion to blue. So, in other words, the more blue lands you have is your devotion.
Actually, not land, because land don't have that symbol in their mana cost. Lands don't have a mana cost.
Oh, okay. So, like cards that have blue mana is your devotion.
Yeah. This card on its own would provide 2 devotion to blue because of the 2 blue mana symbols in its mana cost.
Okay, look at the X top cards of your library where X is your... Okay, so if you have more cards that have blue mana crystals or blue color... They're not mana... Blue land colors than your deck, you win the game. Is basically what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a... What the hell? Okay, so if I remember correctly, last time we went through this, it wasn't mainly about power level. A lot of it seemed to be the play style, the pattern it left to the game, and most importantly, how it impacts other players. It almost feels like the committee wants to make sure that Commander is great for everybody and inclusive and make sure everyone has fun, even though card gamers want people to suffer. It's very strange.
Are you reading like the front page of the website right
now? No, I'm just recalling. It's been a bit since we did it, so I have to remember. I have to go through what it was. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I didn't get to ask you. Like a little off topic here before I really analyze this card. Did I ruffle any feathers to what I said on that video from the comments that you've read? I don't know if you read any of them. I feel like I ruffled a lot of feathers. They seem to you guys, love you guys. You guys seem to think I'm really dumb for thinking that getting to 15 mana is a lot. Okay. They were really after me for Emrakul. They were like, he obviously didn't play. Getting 15 mana is easy. Okay, so I'm chilling. I can do the exact same. Okay, cool. Okay. This one's interesting. I feel like this is a very telegraphed win condition, which is kind of cool. And I have to just double check. This card has 2, so you said that's 2 devotion already.
Yeah.
And does it have to be a unique card? Or like if I have multiple versions of a card on the board or multiple permanents on the board of the same card that's not a legendary, do those count as well?
It would. So like if you had copies of Thassa's Oracle, a copy includes its mana value, then yeah, like this and a copy of this would be a total of 4 devotion to blue.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's kind of cool. I don't know. I feel like this is it's a pretty cool card.
I do want to make sure that there's kind of an understanding of like when this enters, if the devotion matches the library size or less, you win the game on the spot.
Yeah, but that feels like so late. Okay, hold on. I gotta rearrange my brain here. It's not Hearthstone.
you can manipulate your deck with other colors. So then therefore this is actually a lot easier than it probably, no, but like then you have to worry about your devotion. I'm sure there's cards that have a ton of, okay, here's another question. If it has like X, but it's like neutral mana, but then it like converts it to blue, does that count as like devotion to blue? Does that make, is there cards that do that? I don't know. I gotta ask these questions.
Now I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
Okay, so like, okay, I'm not gonna go down that path. I'm just making up cards. Okay, it's fine. I mean, okay, 2-mana 1/3 is fine. Like we're not, none of these cards I think we're ever really considering the stats here. So it comes down to when this specific card enters the battlefield, how likely are you just to straight up win the game? Now, I don't know about, it seemed like last time straight up winning the game with a pretty easy win condition was really egregious towards the committee and they would ban this effect. So I feel like this is bannable and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, but I will go with it's banned.
Let me show you a card.
Okay. Okay.
Check this card out.
Demonic Consolation or Consultation. What did I say? Consolation?
Consolation, yes.
One
no, Demonic Consultation.
1 black. Name a card. Remove the top 6 cards of your library from the game. Then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal the named card. Oh shit! Put that card in your. Oh wait, that's all that. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's pretty sick. That's a sick card.
Yeah,
that's a
pretty
sick card. Yeah, okay, so I can see why that would be a really good combination of cards. Okay, so yeah, it's probably banned.
Yeah, well, if you play Demonic Consultation, you don't have to name a card in your deck. It can be 1 mana, exile your whole deck.
But it says name a card. Oh, it doesn't have to be a card in your deck.
It doesn't even have to be a card you own. You can name Charizard.
Wait, that's okay. I feel like if they could go back, they might want to just name a card in your deck. And then this becomes a lot less consistent, but yeah, sure. Okay, I can see why. So the concept is like you play this, you just mill your whole deck and then you play that card. Then you win.
Yeah, and you win.
Okay. So yeah, it's banned.
This card's not banned. Neither of these cards are banned. This is a legal combo in Commander.
Dude, see, oh my god, I'm already angry at this because you show me cards last time that don't deserve to be banned, like in my honest opinion, and then you show me this, which is like a turn 3 lethal in a sense, right? If you have the lands for this and you drew both these cards, you win, and like you're okay, whatever. Sorry, why it's not banned?
It's possible with the legal cards in Commander, and I've seen it done for this to happen on the first turn.
Okay, so then why is it?
Why isn't this banned?
Yeah,
that's the question. Well, unfortunately, this isn't a why isn't it banned explanation list of things on the official website. We actually don't have a reason.
Okay, why do you think this is not banned then?
That's I don't know.
I'm gonna get people mad at you.
No, I really don't know. This is one of the most mind-boggling things about Commander is that some of these, something like what you'll hear people say, and they're already typing it, I can hear you typing it in the future, is that something has to be the best. You know, that is a line that gets repeated. Something has to be the best. These two specific cards together are the best, fastest, self-compacted, like, win con. And they end more games of what's called CEDH, competitive EDH, than probably any other combo ever will. And I don't know why it's legal. I don't know why Thassa's Oracle is legal. There are some other cards, not at the same rate. I mean, 1 mana instant is insane, but there are other cards that do something like and can replace Demonic Consultation in the combo. But Thassa's Oracle, there isn't much at the rate that Thassa's Oracle is that can do this. Like the next cheapest thing is like 3 mana, and it's not what's called a trigger, but it has to be on the battlefield and alive for you to win the game. So there's a lot of risk to it. This is a trigger. So even if they kill the Thassa's Oracle, you still win the game after the trigger if you do this combo. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand why they ban cards and why they don't. And I know you give me the reason why they do, but this seems like an auto ban.
It does.
And I don't understand. Okay.
I'm great. And the real purpose of it is to mind fuck you right away.
Yeah, I figured. I figured.
It's a mean one. It's a mean one for sure. Because I agree, this should be banned. I have no idea. I think that the other thing. Here's the other thing that they're going to say. Rule 0. Rule 0 is a commander term. It means that when you sit down, you talk to the other people about the type of deck you are playing and how powerful it is, and you try to not commit any social faux pas by ending the game in an unsavory way. This probably sounds insane, right?
Okay.
This is how Commander players are supposed to interact. And I just got back from Command Fest Atlanta, so a lot of these things are very fresh in my mind. And so the idea is that it's a self-governing format, and that people who put combos like Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation in their deck should only play with other people who put those combos in their deck.
Yeah, but you could say that about any other card you showed me.
Exactly. Exactly, which is why it gets so nebulous, which is why it's so crazy. This is the best combo in the format, and it's legal. That should at least give you some guidance. If you can see something better than this as we go, then you might want to assume it's banned.
Okay. I don't think that's going to help me at all, because now I'm lost already.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, I'll you know what? Let's cover one here that we'll see what you think.
Hey!
You've seen this card.
Yeah, Chaos Orb. 2 neutral for 1 mana. Flip Chaos Orb onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Chaos Orb must turn completely over at least once, or it is discarded with no effect. When this lands, any cards in play that it touches are destroyed, as is Chaos Orb. This is a cool card. Really cool card. But, okay, in the same instance of it as in Standard, right? I believe you didn't you tell me this was like banned in Standard at some point? I can't remember. It's been a while since we recorded that video. I just remember the guy ripping it into multiple pieces or something.
Mm-hmm. It was banned in Type 1, which back in the day, like, there wasn't really a Standard. It was just everything that's legal. So yeah, it was banned in that competitive format.
So that makes me think that this would be banned in here, but also the last card should have been banned. So then why would this be banned? This at least has some pizzazz to it. And like, I think it'd be funny. I mean, there's a lot more that could happen in a game of Commander with 3 other people. You could target someone in particular, or at least try to. I mean,
do you think there's an issue with people ripping up their Chaos Orbs in Commander?
Yes. No.
I want to know who would do it in a casual game of Commander, personally.
Well, yeah, how much is
how much is that?
This card's, yeah, how much was this worth again? Like,
I can tell you that.
This was an expensive card, wasn't it?
Yes. So, this card hasn't been reprinted in a long time. The cheap one, unquote, an unlimited edition one, is $1,656.
Yeah, so if I'm playing a game of Commander and somebody's ripping up their Chaos Orb next to me to win, I mean, more power to them, dude. That's, if that Commander game is that much more important than having this card, whatever, it's fine. I wouldn't be upset about it. That being said, I don't think this would be necessarily banned, but again, it comes down to, like, they could just ban this card because they don't like the random element of it, like in a game of Commander. Like, they want to feel every single player has agency, and they don't want a random card flying down on a table to decide the game. So it's probably banned.
So it is banned, and there is another reason. And once you hear it, you're going to be like, oh, that makes 100% like sense. But let me tell you, just a reminder to everybody out there, we read the reasons that the Rules Committee banned these cards. Wizards does not ban cards in Commander. A separate entity, the Rules Committee, bans cards in Commander, and they actually publish the reason why on their website. You can go to mtgcommander.net/index.php/ban-list/ and find it. So, for example, I'm going to read you what they said about Shahrazad, one of your favorite cards, the game within a game card, because as I told you when we reviewed Charizard, it's banned everywhere, but I thought it might be fun to hear why it was banned, and then I'll tell you why Chaos Orb is banned.
Okay.
Charizard seems like a kind of fun, wacky spell that Commander wants to promote in the format. Unfortunately, resolving it is something of a logistical nightmare in most circumstances, and the spell ends up causing a lot of bad experience as players seem to love copying and recurring it, turning the game into a slog.
Those are my type of people.
Those are your people.
6 hours in, the 10th Charizard is played. You need 40 tables.
So those are the examples of some of the reasons that you'll find on the Rules Committee website. Now coming to Chaos Orb. Cards that require manual dexterity present unique accessibility challenges for the format. We don't want Commander to be a format that you can only play if you can engage in specific physical actions. Chaos Orb incentivizes players to physically spread their cards out over a large area in order to minimize the possibility of multiple permanents being affected. At best, this is awkward, and at worst, it adds needless complexity to maintaining the state of the game.
Oh, okay. You know what? Like, you're right. I do understand the logic behind that. I really do. Okay, that's completely understandable for sure.
I have played formats where like Chaos Orb was potentially legal, basically limited formats that involved really old packs of cards. And in those formats, like people would, and they would ask you, why don't you play with your cards like all spread out? Like can you imagine keeping like your board basically social distance from each other as much as possible?
Yeah.
In case a Chaos Orb resolved. Yeah. It's a lot.
I got you. That's pretty funny. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like logically, it makes sense. Like that's the first one you've really spoken to me, and I'm like, okay, I can get it. I get it.
Let's get into another one.
Grizzlebrand. That seems correct. For neutral mana for black, flying lifelink, pay 7 life to draw 7 cards. And it's a 7/7. Okay, like that does not seem broken. It's very slow. It comes down on turn 8 theoretically. It depends how fast I guess you can really get your mana. I don't think this is that bad. Now, I guess it really comes down to how annoying is a flying lifelink that's a 7/7. I would imagine it's not that bad. Paying 7 life to draw 7 cards feels like a pretty safe trade-off. How much? What's the life in Commander? Is it 30, 40?
It's 40.
See, it's so tough because you showed me the Oracle card. And I'm looking at this card. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is okay, but I can win the game on turn 2. So, like, why would I care about this? I guess this is your commander, though, right?
It can be. It's a legendary creature. If it is your commander, it would have to be mono black. It could only play black cards and artifacts.
That sounds really bad. Why? Like, I'm trying more. Like, honestly, I don't think this is ban worthy, but I'm trying to think to myself why this would be banned because I feel like you're gonna tell me it is banned. Is a 7/7 flying lifelink really that bad? Is there something that really interacts with paying 7 life to draw 7 cards? Like, I feel like card draw is easier to come. I guess you could do it immediately. Is there an effect that swaps your life with someone else? I feel like you've shown me that before, but really, do I care? I'm gonna go with not banned.
You're gonna go with not banned?
Yeah,
I do want to. I feel like in a few videos we've talked about it, but like I think it's come up a few times that you can pay 7 life and then immediately pay it again. It's an open-ended ability.
Oh, fair enough. So okay, so you can do it multiple times a turn. Okay. Yeah, but still, like, how many cards? Like, there has to be an interaction. What if? Okay, hold on. I'm about to lay it down here. Okay, you play this card. Okay.
Okay.
And then you play the Oracle card, so that you did the same thing but much later in the game, and I guess it looks cooler because you're paying your life. There you go.
That's a combo. You comboed.
No, I think this is not ban worthy. I think this is too slow, and I think the stuff you've shown me that is ban worthy is more egregious for the most part. So I'm gonna go not banned, but here we go. It's banned, isn't it?
I knew that showing you the Thassa's Oracle was mean. I guess I didn't realize how mean it was going to be.
I mean, how can you do better than just win the game on turn 2? Okay, sorry, continue.
Legit, Griselbrand is banned. It's been banned since 2012. So for almost as long as like it's been printed. It was printed in May of 2012, which is kind of crazy. Griselbrand sees play in other formats, and the idea generally is that you never cast it for its mana cost. You find ways to sneak it onto the battlefield. And since it's not an ETB or a dies trigger, it's just a static ability, any way to get Griselbrand or a copy of Griselbrand onto the battlefield in some way unlocks the ability. So to read the exact terms, exactly what the rules committee says, Griselbrand's typical play pattern involves cheating it onto the battlefield early to draw an overwhelming number of cards. Its effect is amplified in Commander due to the higher starting life totals, its constant availability as a commander, and by the fact that you get this cards in hand immediately after activating its ability. Okay, I definitely read that sentence wrong, but the gist is there. So
I'm still shocked. Okay.
Kind of crazy. This was one of the cards that, like, when I was first learning the format and my friend Ben played on the kitchen table, like at his house, like I didn't give it a second thought. And we didn't even know, like, he didn't know it was banned. I didn't know it was banned. And we just played the game. And somebody had to tell us later that Griselbrand is banned. And we're like, really?
Okay, here's another question for you. Do they ever unban cards?
Oh, God. I feel like they have.
Because, like, maybe in
Have they?
2012 Magic the Gathering, this was like, oh, this is fucking scary, guys. We should do this immediately. But, like, 2024 Magic the Gathering, is this really that good of an ability? I don't think so, right?
Oh, they unbanned Flash, a card called Flash, in 2020. It was part of a combo. So, yes, they've unbanned cards in Commander before.
Okay, this opens more questions. So is this card still that egregious that it's not unbannable worthy? Like, I must be missing a really core component of like how good it is to just cheat this out and draw cards.
I think that the only scenarios where this card, so there's two scenarios, actually. Let me rephrase. Say that you're playing very competitive Commander, all right? Okay. And if you sneak this onto the battlefield in some way, I showed you the card Sneak Attack, like which is like 1 red, put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. So let's say that you were able to do that very early in the game, say turn 2, which is, very possible in Commander. Then you can pay 7 life like 3, 4, 5 times. All right. Yeah, 5 times 7, 35. Yeah. Okay. You can draw 35 cards. If that is the kind of deck you're playing, after drawing 35 cards on the spot, you're very likely to find ways to cheat mana and play win cons, like Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation, or something like that. You're very likely to then, at that point, combo, storm off, play a bunch of spells, and win the game, like on the spot. That access to that many cards enables that kind of, this is where the game ends.
So it's interesting. So I'm glad you explained that a little bit more. So that thing sounds like it's a consistency problem that they wanted to get rid of. Because it's not necessarily that drawing cards is that good. It's more just like drawing that many cards.
Yes.
It allows you to do it. Okay.
Access to that many cards almost ensures that like some kind of a end game here is going to happen. Now, that's in the competitive sense. On the casual sense, look at a similar situation. Somebody cheats a Griselbrand into play. Maybe they used a discard spell, discarded Griselbrand into their graveyard, and cast a card that brings a creature from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Animate Dead, very old card. Wouldn't be weird in a more friendly game. Okay. At this point, the friendly game player, that deck, may not have a way to win the game on the spot, but you do have access to 35 cards. which means you're always going to have more cards than everybody. You're going to spend your turn like, which cards do I discard? Because your max hand size at the end of a turn is 7.
Oh my God.
You're just going to be sitting there like, oh, what do I do here? Which one do I keep? Oh, do I do this? While everybody watches you and it's like, yeah, I'd like to have access to 35 fucking cards. Can you take your turn? I just want to play something.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So this is again getting into the mindset of, does it break competitive? Does it break casual? And if so, how badly? If the answer is yes to both of those, it seems like they treat that as ban worthy.
Sure. Then you go up literally 3 cards and you see the Oracle card and you ask the exact same question. So yeah, whatever helps you. Yeah.
Oh God, purge your mind. Purge your mind.
My card is imprinted forever. That is crazy.
Oh no, I've ruined you. I'm
really
sorry.
have.
I really
fine.
am. I guess this is our last video together, so let's make it worth it.
Let's make it work. Okay. I'm still okay. Whatever. It's fine. I gotta get over it. What the hell is this? Caracas. That sounds correct. What is the tap? This is an old ass card. My God.
It is. It's very
Add
old.
white. I think that's what that is.
Yes.
Okay. Add white to your mana pool. Return target legend to owner's hand. Enchantments on target legend are destroyed. Holy moly. So if you tap, you don't get both, right? You only get one?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty gross. That sounds really unfun to play against, because that's it's one of the, you know when you're playing a card game and you know your opponent has a card and you're like you just can't play one of your cards now because it's like the second you blaze it you're wasting all your mana for it and then it just dies the turn after or whatever.
Yeah, feels bad, feels helpless.
That is the exact same thing, and this is a land. So as long as you're playing like a white deck or some kind of white, you could spend white mana. Like, you're fine playing this turn 1 and then just holding this card for the rest of the game. And then every single time your opponent wants to play their commander, which I'm assuming this is the case for it, you just put it back. And then, like, they just waste their whole turn. That sounds really fun. That sounds miserable.
It's not very nice. I guess if you want to defend it, you can say that it can only do one thing a turn cycle, and there are, 3 other players, but...
I mean, if you didn't have the mana to your pool, I feel like this would not be great. But the fact that you still get, like, it still does something until you want to do it. So, like, it seems like it's a very good card, specifically in Commander. Even potentially in, like, regular modes, it could be really good. Because, like, legendary cards, like, are often great. And just having, like, a card that says, like, nope, go back to your hand. I don't even know if your opponent can interact with this. Like, there's no, like, instant that stops this, is there?
There are cards that can do it, but they're fringe.
I mean, okay. I think this card is more from a casual. If we're to bring up like the multiple standpoints here, like competitively, this is a joke. But in casual, like this is just you would leave the table very unsatisfied with that game if you're like your commander just kept getting bounced. So like for that reason alone, I feel like this card is banned.
Caracas is banned.
Okay.
Yes, you are correct. Let's read the reasoning. This one's funny. It was printed in 1994, but banned in 2008. Commander is a format that focuses on legendary creatures that tie together decks thematically, and Caracas is a land that can both prevent a player from having consistent access to their commander and allow its controller to consistently save their commander from removal, because you can bounce your own. It does both of these things for a negligibly low activation cost. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, boom. Yep, very straightforward. See, there's rational in here. There's
that
good,
one is
honest logic.
Yeah, that one is very logical. That is very logical. Okay, no, I didn't even consider you could bounce your own thing to your hand, but you just make your opponent's life miserable. That's it. Interesting. All right. Oh my god. So it's this the first word is tough because as a League of Legends player, I just think of Ionia, but I think it's Iona.
It is Iona, not Ionia, but Iona.
It hurts my brain. Just because the amount of League I've played. Shield of Ameria. 6 neutral, 3 white, flying. As this enters the battlefield, choose a color. Your opponents can't cast spells of the chosen color. That's a 7/7. Yeah, I gotta clarify one thing.
Yeah.
If a card is like red and blue, they can't cast it.
That's right.
Oh my god, that is so funny. That is so funny, dude. You could roll a whole table with this.
You might be a dangerous commander player.
No, there's no way I'm playing this.
Table enemy.
There's no way I'm playing this. But I'm just imagining all of your opponents are playing blue. You just play this card, and they just look at you like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like the game's done. Like the game's over. Like, unless they have like another like a color, but that is hella frustrating. Again, it kind of gives the same vibes as the previous card. It's just in some instances this feels like you're helpless and like there's nothing you could do. And like even in a competitive standpoint, there would be, I would almost imagine, some kind of meta game in competitive Commander, just like every other card game. And I'm sure people often bring like the best commanders and the best colors, and you can kind of predict what is the best color, I guess, for the most part, and maybe just stop two of your opponents from playing the game and you get a bunch of resources in the meantime. So like that feels really good in both competitive and casual. And it feels worse in a casual setting than it is in competitive, because like you're playing competitive to win, so like you can't be mad about that. The question is like, how likely is this to just completely blow out the game for a lot of people on your table?
It's a good question.
I'm trying to like
the question.
See, again, we had this discussion last time where it's like, is it worse to just lose the game, or is it worse to slowly watch you lose the game? And this is the instance of like you literally are watching yourself lose the game. Like, yeah, I guess you just pick up your cards and leave, but that sounds horrible. So then in that case, I think it's banned. I think it's so tough. I don't know. See, the last one, like the what's his name? Kregel? What was his name?
Kregel.
Grizzle?
Who's
Grizzle,
Kregel? Grizzle Brand? Kregel?
Kregel Brand? So Grizzle is banned because of consistency with combo-oriented stuff. This just says fuck you to someone in particular. Is that really bannable to say fuck you to someone at your table?
I've been kicked out of my LGS for something similar.
Something similar, so you didn't play this.
No. I just literally saying fuck you to somebody at my table.
Oh, okay,
I was young.
I mean, this is saying that exact words. It's just you're just not saying it verbally. You put this on the board. You look at the person and go blue, and then
how did you know it was the right? How did you know the right color so easily?
I'm just imagining I'm playing it to you. I don't think this is bannable, but I could definitely see it being like annoyed. But it's so unlikely that someone at the board, or like no one on the board, can interact with you, this card. So yeah, you stop someone from playing the game, but I'm sure other players would take advantage of this as well, so it doesn't feel as bad. I feel like it's not bannable. It's not banned.
Iona, Shield of Emeria is banned in Commander.
Is it for the exact reason I said?
It is. You were, but we'll get into it. Really quick, this card was printed in 2009. Maybe just for fun, would you like to take a guess at how long they waited to ban it?
How long?
Yeah, how many years do you think it took them to ban this card?
Less than one.
Less than 1 year?
Yeah.
It actually is a more recent ban. They banned it in 2019, so this was legal for 10 years, actually. Crazy.
Okay, so then what happened?
Well, eventually they made a decision. Let's read what they have to say. Iona's ability to lock entire colors out of the game makes it brutally efficient at removing agency from other players at the table, especially when opponents are playing 1 or 2 color decks. This often has the effect of totally negating one or more players' involvement in a game and creates unnecessary social friction.
Okay, so again, imagine you're sitting down for a game of Commander, okay? You guys all draw your cards, you get your hand, everyone's having a good time. Turn 2 rolls around, someone plays the demonic consultation into Thassa's Oracle, and you lose. Does that not feel infinitely worse than this person like later on just being like, yeah, this color can't cast anymore?
So I agree with you, and I think that a lot of people will. I'm going to devil's advocate it. Assuming that you followed the Rule Zero conversation and had a conversation that we had mean cards in our deck and combos and such. The difference with the Thassa's Oracle consultation thing is you can now shuffle up and play a new game. Your opponent had the nuts invariance in their, 2 in 100 card deck, and they did the thing, and you were just immediately into a new game, and you're playing Magic again. Iona comes down, and now it's waiting to see if somebody else can or will deal with it. And another kind of what they're talking about with the social friction that doesn't seem as obvious is if player A is locked out of the game completely by Iona, and that's player B's Iona, player C isn't obligated to do anything about Iona. But they might, the other player might want them to. So there might be like, please kill it. I just want to play. And they're like, no, I don't want to help you. Which gets very bad at a casual table.
Socially, this card is why it's banned, it seems.
Yes. This is a hardcore social ban. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
It creates bad experiences. It is the reasoning behind it.
Fair enough. Basically what I said. Okay.
Yep.
You just fucked me off with that first card. I just can't get over it.
We're gonna have to move past it. We've got to.
I can't. Because every card you showed me, I'm like, how is it worse than that? Okay.
So true. Let's talk about this one.
Sway of the Stars, 8 neutral, 2 blue. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into his or her library. Then draw 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes... Oh my god. Yo, that's kind of sick.
It's the life total part at the end, right?
Yeah, it's just interesting because it's like... Wait, each player shuffles his or her... So basically you're just restarting the game. And then everyone's at 7? I understand this right?
Yeah, basically.
Wait, that's kind of wild. Interesting. I don't even know how you would abuse this. But then it makes me think of like what you just said with the previous card, which was like, socially, imagine you're playing a game and then all of a sudden someone says, no. And then you have to restart the whole thing. And like, depending on how far you're into the game, that sounds miserable, but then now you're at 7 life. So I guess the game would end faster. But it feels bad, I guess, right? Competitively, this is not banned. Like, there's no way that they're banning this. There's no way. There's absolutely no way this is not banned. This is a pure casual, like, if this is going to be banned. I'm just trying to think of, like, how brutal is this actually?
You have to access the casual mindset. You have to dig deep into the mind of the Magic player who isn't trying to climb the ladder or win the tournament.
Yeah, so that, I don't know. Even as a casual player, though, like, this is an effect where if it happened to me the first time, I'd be like, whoa, what is happening? And then the second time, I'd be like, oh, this was cool last time or whatever, depending on how it ends up. I think it really comes down to just the cards you draw then. I don't know, because at 7 life, you're kind of scared. This is actually a really tough one, because I don't think this is really that bad from a player perspective. And I don't think this is that bad from competitive. So I don't think it's banned. I can understand why people would be a little frustrated because it's like everything they did is like undone. But it's not like you're starting the game at 40 health again. Like you're at 7. So like the game's going to go by a little bit faster. And it adds this weird dynamic that like now you know what your opponents are playing. So you can kind of understand like what they're going for and how you have to play for that. I don't think this is banned. I at least understand why they would ban this, just purely from like an effect of like it feels like everything you did up until that point is undone. That might feel like horrible, but I don't think it's bannable.
I think you and I would be down for a Sway of the Stars game. You know, I think we'd be like, okay, second round, but 7 life, you know, let's go. Yeah. But this card is banned in Commander, which surprised me. I actually had forgotten completely about this card until I was looking down the ban list for ideas for today. And this card was printed in 2004 and has been banned since the inception of the format. Like this was like a day zero ban.
This is like Charizard, I guess, in a sense, where it's like maybe logistically it just really makes everyone's like time feel like it didn't matter. Like I can understand. I'm assuming that's the reason you're saying it.
Yeah, let's see what reason they wrote. Casting Sway of the Stars has the effect of completely negating the game that was in progress before its resolution. Sway adds time to the game and takes away action. You might as well shuffle up and play a new game. I mean, I guess at any point, the way that a game ends, you could always offer like a Sway of the Stars game. Do you guys want to do one more, but we're just at 7 life? You know, just pretend that we cast Sway of the Stars.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. This card in my mind is definitely not like, I don't think it's bad. I feel like this is completely fine. And
so do I.
I feel like it comes down so late in the game that if someone's doing this, they're doing it because like this is a part of their win condition to see what you're playing, and then like not their win condition, their strategy. Like I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for them to restart the game at 7. I can understand why someone would be frustrated, but I don't think it's. Again, I can go on about this. I think it's fine, but yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Sway of the Stars, crazy. I really had forgotten this card existed.
It's cool.
Here's a fun one.
Soul Ring, 1 neutral. Tap to add what is that? Like 2 neutral mana?
Yeah, 2 neutral mana.
Okay, so it's like Innervate, but you can do that every turn.
Yeah, it's a permanent.
That's broken. I hate it. It's only neutral mana, I guess. You can't change that to blue, right? It's always neutral.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate that more than other cards I've seen so far. No,
you hate Soul Ring.
That seems. Okay, I showed you Innervate from Hearthstone. Now the same
it's like
concept.
A dark ritual.
You get to play it every turn.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for you, but that's awful to play against. I'd be so frustrated watching my opponent constantly just tap into this. I'd be so rattled. No, I mean, this is way more egregious than the previous card in my mind. Oh my god, I'm just thinking about this in Hearthstone. Like, they drop this on turn 1, and every turn they're just getting 2 extra mana crystals for funsies. Like, that's fucked. No, I think this is bannable. It's probably not, though, because like that I've seen other cards. Okay, hold on. Let me continue. Hold on. Competitively speaking, this card's fine. If someone played this against you, you can interact with it because it is a permanent on board. Most importantly, you're playing the best shit there. So like competitively, it doesn't matter. Casually, do people really understand in a casual setting how good mana cheating is?
I mean, I think they learn really fast if they don't.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like,
yes. I think the broader audience definitely understands that. Yes,
I will say like this. It took me a while to really understand like how good Innervate was. Like I understood like getting mana was good. Like Innervate was just like the nuts because you're ramping past your mana at a certain point that accelerates the game, but it also gets you in a position where you're like ahead. So that I don't think on a casual standpoint is like the most obvious thing until you see it a couple of times, which means like this has been probably around for a while, so people probably understand that. Like, well, I guess this is 2024, but I imagine this is probably a reprint.
Oh, this was in the first Magic set. It's a reprint from way back. Yeah.
If they reprinted this, I almost feel like, and it's probably not banned. It's powerful, nevertheless, but it's probably not banned. It's probably not banned. I can't think of an emotional reason why this should be banned, so I'm gonna say it's not. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so you're saying that there's no emotional reason to ban it. Do you think logically it should be banned? Like that doesn't have to go to the answer. I'm just curious.
So
like power level, would you ban this?
It's so tough because once again, you showed me the Oracle card, and I think gaining 2 mana crystals is worse than just winning the game. So it's like, no, I wouldn't think it'd be. I think from a competitive standpoint, this card is not as good as some other cards.
Okay. What if I were to tell you that not only is this card not banned, the reason I'm kind of mad at myself for putting the version that says 2024 on it on there. That was my bad. What if I were to tell you in every single Commander precon, that is the pre-constructed decks that Wizard sells, like they come as a deck. What if I told you they put a Soul Ring in every deck so that every new player gets a Soul Ring?
You know what? This may become as a shock for you, but I think it's actually really smart.
Go on.
So like this is something that Hearthstone's done recently is people like playing their cards. Like that's, you play card games to play your cards. So in older Hearthstone, it kind of sucked when you felt like you couldn't do anything. And newer Hearthstone, they're like, you have infinite resources. You have like not infinite mana, but you have a lot more ways of spending your mana. So it just feels better to play the game if that's what you want. And I feel like Magic understood that as well. You're playing cards to play. You're playing a card game to play cards, and Soul Ring enables that on a higher level. So like it feeds your brain to feel like, oh, I like this card, and then you want to play more.
Yeah, I like that. I think that you kind of hit on something there. There is a debate in the community, like on a power level thing. A lot of people think Soul Ring should be banned. That is too powerful, and I can't wait to see you play Commander, because basically you sit down, you start the game, and there's a kind of a hold your breath moment, because almost every deck in existence has a Soul Ring in it, and if somebody goes turn 1 Soul Ring, it feels so bad. Like you said, oh my gosh, they're so far ahead, and it's only turn 1, and it's absolutely a busted Magic card. But it's also in every deck all the time.
It's very smart.
Crazy.
Actually, very smart.
I actually liked hearing that side of it at the end there from you, because I think a lot of people still don't understand why Soul Ring is legal. And I think you're closer to it than people who are like, well, the reprint value, it's not a very expensive card. It's accessible, all this other, like, I think you kind of got it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm kind of a modern day Socrates for card game.
Well, on that note, Socrates, what do you got to say about this?
What is this? Dockside Extortionist. 1 mana, 1 red. When this enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Treasure tokens are artifacts. With tap, sacrifices artifact at 1 mana of any color.
They're coins.
So you play this card and you can use those artifacts immediately.
Yes. Or later.
Oh my god. That's kind of crazy. I guess it's only artifacts though. And enchantments. So it does narrow it down a little bit, but I would imagine there's going to be you're putting this card in your deck, so it takes up a card slot, but on top of that, how many tokens would you want for this card to be worth it? Like, I feel like if you get 1, it's not great. So 2 is pretty good. 3 gets really good. 4, you're fucking crazy with it. And then it only scales from there. And I feel like the later in the game you get this, like you're doing like a super turn. Like this is a feels good card for you. But on top of that, your opponents feel bad for playing their cards if they understand that this is in your deck. So like this is a weird one, because then it comes down to who matters more, the person playing the card or the people playing against it. And if you're letting Hearthstone dictate it, it's the person that's playing the card. I'm not sure how Magic does. Because this isn't that bad in terms of effects. It's a very like insane play for you though, which is going to feel really good. Does this enable something really broken potentially? Yeah, but I mean, by that time in the game where you're probably doing something that insane, like, is that really that bad? No, I don't think this is banned. Competitively, this is really cool too. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think this is like I think people at your table could understand how fun this would be for you. And I'm gonna use that to say that it's not banned.
Oh, I can't anymore. Okay. How much fun Dockside is for you.
Like,
Okay, yeah. So I have I've seen Docksides in excess of like 20, And early in the game too. It's kind of crazy how the more competitive you get in Commander, the more artifacts are index really artifacts. Like artifacts are freaking busted. We know everybody has a soul ring, but there are a lot of artifacts that make mana, and that's a big part of Commander. And enchantments also, like the fact that it also hits enchantments is just like gravy, right? There are decks that love enchantments and play a ton of them. So yeah, Dockside for 2 mana on a body can enable often over 10 mana without even trying. Like 2 to 10, almost without even trying. Okay. On top of that, since it's on a body, you can reanimate it. You can do what's called flicker it, which is like blink it, make it leave the battlefield, re-enter, do it again. It goes infinite with a million different cards that, like, say, you know, spend 3 mana, exile target creature, return to the battlefield, spend 2 mana, return a creature you control to your hand, and it just creates infinite mana like that. Yeah. This card's not banned.
Yeah. I was waiting for that.
This card is legal. Yep. This card is fine.
This card, I almost feel like is not banned because of the fact that they want you to have those moments. Like, this is probably the logic that a lot of Hearthstone players don't understand when they think about the old golden days of Hearthstone. Like, I showed you Yeti, which was like a 4-mana 4/5, no text. That's just all it is. Like, Hearthstone wouldn't be fun at this point if it was only that.
Yeah.
So is getting more mana benefiting off your opponents playing cards? Like, yeah, I think that's completely fine. And then you have a really fun turn that you're going to remember probably for a while and want you to play more Commander.
Yeah.
So like, sure. I can understand it.
All right.
Modern day Socrates.
Yeah. I mean, you did nail it. Would you be surprised if I told you that there is more chatter today in the Commander scene about banning Dockside Extortionist than there is about Thassa's Oracle?
No, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, it's certainly, I think it is one of the only cards that's been mentioned in basically the last few years. The Commander Rules Committee has said during their, like, the period when they speak to the people, they're like, no bans this year, but we are keeping an eye on Dockside. Like, that's been like, there's been 2 years of that.
Yeah, it's a card that, like, there is probably a limit to how much it's willing to give you. And the thing is like, this is a card that only gets better with more cards printed. Mm-hmm. It's tactically speaking, it's infinite potential. So like they have to keep an eye on it. But until that moment comes where it's doing something that's just so unfun to watch or so unfun to play against, it's probably fine.
Probably. It's probably fine. How about this card? Is this card fine?
Okay, Paradox Engine, 5 neutral. When you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. Non-land permanents you control. So this, you could just keep using like okay, hold on.
Creatures, artifacts.
No, I'm looking. I just scrolled up to Soul Ring.
Yeah, that's a combo.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with probably banned. This is a very, very scary card.
Why so?
So I'm just imagining a situation where I showed you Gadgetzan Auctioneer earlier.
Yes.
Gadgetzan Auctioneer is the enabler for degeneracy. Like, the card itself is good, but it is the engine that allows you to do stupid stuff. This is almost the same concept in the sense, like, you play this, and if you have the right setup to, I'm gonna use draw for the auctioneer angle here, but like untap your non-land permanents to gain more mana with Soul Ring, and then on top of that, other stuff that I probably don't even understand. It seems like a very unfun way to lose a game. Watching your opponent just keep doing same things over and over again. This just seems like a very good card. So, yeah, it's probably banned.
It is banned. You are coming around. You are becoming a commander player right before our eyes, because it's not just about powerful, right, or infinite. Like, those are both keywords, but it's not about both of those. It's about unfun. And this card was printed in 2017. It's banned in 2019. And it says Paradox Engine can be played in any deck and creates large amounts of mana at little to no deck building cost. Its play patterns of there's a dash there. Its play patterns often involve long, drawn-out turns of tapping and untapping permanents, drawing cards, and generally monopolizing the chess clock of the game.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
It was like, in the longer discussions, they basically shared, this card is banned because people would play it and sit there being like, I do a thing and I untap and I'll tap these, and I do a thing and I'll untap these and tap these. And they would sometimes do this for 20 to 30 minutes, maybe longer, and then still not win in some cases because they didn't like actually find the line. And it just all starts again. You know, the second that they like get to their next turn, it all starts again.
Yeah. No, I can see it.
So yeah, Paradox Engine banned, but legal on MTG Arena in a format called Brawl and Timeless, where the manual tapping and untapping is automated, you know, by the online interface. And I find Paradox Engine decks to be incredibly fun on Magic Arena. There are still a lot of people who want it banned in those formats.
Yeah, so again, this is the conversation of what's more important, the person playing the card versus the person who's not playing the card. Like, to you as a player, this is the fucking nuts, because you're doing like, can't, the dopamine rush with Gadgets and Auctioneer when you're drawing like 10 cards is amazing. Like, you're loving that shit. That's the shit that gets you to queue up again. But your opponent's like, are you serious? Like, they're still going. It's probably the exact same feeling. So it's you just don't play against it. It's that easy.
Indeed. On Arena, right, it's 1v1 and the person can just leave, right?
Yes,
they can leave,
that's also
they
a
can
big
be
deal.
in a new game with one click. When it's 3 other players sitting at the table for game night, like, and it's unclear if you've won the game or not, it's a much different experience. And I wouldn't play it in Commander, honestly, even if I could.
That makes sense. Just for the sake of the people. Yeah, I get you. What the fuck is this card? Hello? It's the... Okay, hold on. Aereo. Oh my god, what is that? Soratemi Ascendant?
I think Soratami is generally accepted.
That's 1 neutral, 1 blue flying. When the 4th spell of a turn is played, flip this. It's a 1/1. And then how the fuck am I gonna read this?
Are you good at upside down reading?
Oh, I kind of got it. Counter the first spell played by each opponent each turn. Huh? Wait, the second part of that is disgusting. Oh my god. Whenever the 4th spell of a turn is... Okay, so I gotta ask for mechanic thing here, okay? So there's a card in Hearthstone called Kalthos Sunstrider. If the card reads, the 3rd spell you played this turn costs 1, or when it was originally released, it was 0, which you could probably guess was stupid. That card would keep track even before it entered the battlefield. So what I mean by that is if you cast 2 spells, then play Kalthos, the 3rd spell would still cost 0, even though Kalthos was not on the board.
I understand.
Is this the same concept here?
Yes, because it says whenever the 4th spell of a turn is played. So it was keeping track before it entered, yes.
So, in other words, you could play this on your turn, and then your opponent is one of your opponents is the first person to deal with the second half of this. So that they have to always be sacrificing a card, including anything but a land.
So counter the first spell played each turn means like when they, tap their lands, put something on the stack, cast a spell. And it can be a creature. Creatures are spells.
That's what I was thinking, right?
Then yes, that card is on the spot before it does anything countered.
And that's basically for the rest of the game.
It's a legendary enchantment. So they would have to find a way to both A, get a spell countered, and B, remove an enchantment after getting a spell countered.
I mean, okay, like this is let's be real here, dude. This is toxic. This is fucked up. This is the type of shit where if someone played that against me, I would be livid. Because like
it is toxic. That is true.
You are, especially in the early game. Oh my god, if you were forced to sacrifice a card to just get anything on board, feels bad, man, to the absolute max. And it feels so bad because it's every single person except for you. So you're not only getting a head on board, you're watching these people suffer. Oh my god. Oh, I would think this would be banned.
I want to add, I just want to make sure you're aware also, it's not just your spells, it's any player's spells can trigger this. So like other players playing stuff could make it happen. And B, it's a legendary creature on its first side. So it can be your commander, which means you have access to it even after it's removed. Are you still there?
I am. I'm really.
Are you okay?
I'm really trying to think of like, is there any reason why they would not ban this? This is, see, I'm kind of metagaming here, but I almost feel like this is not banned because of how things have going. But like, if I'm thinking purely from it, like again, competitively, whatever. Like it might happen again. If the Oracle is allowed, then this is probably okay. I'm not worried about that. Casually, oh my god, despair would be what you're feeling every single time until this. I think you would become best friends to the person that would manage to get rid of this enchantment. Like you would love that person. So like, I just can't imagine wanting to play with someone who is playing this card. Like you would have to have an answer immediately, otherwise this just gets only worse and worse, and it just feels so bad.
It's like one of the reasons Iona probably names blue by default.
Oh, I think this is banned. This is a very unfun card. Very unfun card.
Arayo is banned. This card, printed in 2005, was banned in 2014. And what it says is when played as a commander, this leads decks to cast and flip her early, leading to games where even targeted removal is often ineffective. Worse, a flipped Arayo does not always send a strong signal to newer players that the game is essentially over. The natural result is a play pattern that is nearly always one-sided and oppressive.
Yes. I would agree with all of
this. Yes. Yeah, there is a thing in Commander where in 1v1 and online, like conceding is pretty normal. Scooping when you are going to lose is pretty normal. And if anything is done so regularly, you could say it happens too much. But in Commander, people like scooping is kind of taboo. Like people don't want to do it. There is an awkward moment of should we concede or not in Commander, even when presented with terrible situations that are going to be no fun for anybody. And this card was the poster for that.
Yes. 100% agree. This is pretty egregious. This is a really unfun card.
Let's see if we can shake it off with something that's a little more fun.
Shake it off. Leovold, Emissary of Trust. 1 black, 1 green, 1 blue. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card. Again, this is like on the same vein, but I don't think it actually feels as bad. But I mean, me and you are both pretty like card savvy here. We both know how fucked this is.
It's pretty bad.
This is a miserable effect. Oh my god. Yeah, it's tough.
It's a legendary. So again, like if you sit down and your opponent pulls out a Leovold deck, you know what kind of game they're trying to play.
Yeah, but so again, I think in my mind, getting your cards countered is worse than limiting your draw. I would rather be able to play something than limiting my draw. And there is a good chance you can answer this. I guess they could replay it, but I mean, if they're only doing this, they're not really doing anything else. I mean, that's not fair. The longer the game goes, I guess it gets a little bit better. This is a very scaly, like a very scary effect. It scales later in the game too. Like the later the game gets, the more cards you probably want to play because more mana, and then therefore you need to draw more cards. And unless you're playing like a deck that's super late game oriented, like it's tough to really imagine like only drawing one card will ever be enough. But do casual players really understand how good that is? Like again, competitively, I don't think this card's even looked at. Like this card's probably fine and competitive. Like this is a good card. Like, you show me other cards that are probably better than this. But casually, whenever you play a permanent control, it becomes the target of a spell or an ability. Like that's such a crazy ability too. Like this is card advantage in front of your eyes for a pretty simple effect. Fuck, this is a good card. This is a really good card. Like objectively speaking, I don't know if it's banned, but like I would want to play this card.
I knew you were going to be a problem.
No, but competitive, like the card gamer in me sees a card like this, and I think it's very strong, and it probably ends up being a lot better than I'm thinking it's going to be, just because of how good it can be. Like the potential on this card is nuts. Limiting your opponent's resources is so powerful. And then you also, like, regardless of how many times you have played this, you're always getting a card back, basically guaranteed, if not more. So it comes down to like Regal or whatever the hell his name was. What's his name again? I always forget his name. Grizzle.
Grizzle.
So this is like Grizzle
Regal.
If that guy's banned, how is this not banned? I'm trying to talk myself out of thinking that this is not banned because this is such a good effect. You're gonna have to tell me if this card ended up being good in standard. I don't know. I think I'd be really frustrating. But the thing is like I understand how good this is. Does the average person understand? I think it's very obvious as a casual player to see that your cards getting countered sucks ass. Is it really that bad to see your opponent draw more cards than you do? Maybe it is obvious, but I'm going to say it's not banned.
This card is from a set called Conspiracy Take the Crown, which I don't know a lot about. I never purchased it. I didn't own it at the time. My understanding is it was kind of like a sub-game commander in introducing like some kind of other objectives and things like that. I would love comments explaining what the conspiracy set was all about, but it was never legal in standard. So we don't have that context.
Okay.
In fact, I believe the only thing it's legal in is Legacy and Vintage, which are super, super old, very high powered formats where I do recall seeing that it got some play. I do remember some like it popping up now and then in that world. This card is banned. Okay. Yep. Let's see what they say. First printed in 2016 of August and banned in 2017. Leovold, as a commander, creates an environment of asymmetric resource denial in the early game. Yep. Its second ability protects itself and other resource denial pieces in play, and its first ability easily combines with several other cards to strip the opponent's hands and keep them empty.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is they're referring to wheel effects. So, some of which I showed you in past videos, like Windfall. Discard your hand, then each player draws X many cards.
Oh, I guess you.
Yeah, gross. This creates an environment where players don't have agency, but doesn't outright end the game.
Yeah, it's tough. It like I think I talked myself out of it. Like I think I was metagaming myself there because like I could like just from looking at it, I could be like, God damn, I would hate to play against this card. So
I was
miserable.
surprised it was banned. Like when I found out about this card and found it on the ban list, I was also surprised because definitely you look at it and you can think, well, just kill it. Just blow up creatures or something, right?
Yeah, dude, just kill it.
Yeah, just kill it. But it is like more cards, and then it's blue, so they can counter your spells. And there's a lot of feels bad.
Do you still feel like this card shouldn't be banned? Like that was just your initial reaction, right?
That was my initial reaction.
Okay.
And very similar to what you just did. Like I could hear the gears turning, and the card got better the more you thought about it. And that is very much the Leovold effect, which is why I put it on this list, because I thought it would be very interesting to hear you work it out.
this card I think would be auto played in any class in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Like it's very unlikely this card wouldn't see play. And I imagine in Magic it's even worse. So like yeah, it seems nuts. It's very good. Is there more?
All right. Oh, there's one more. Last card. Really interested what you say about this.
I talked myself out of that one. Goddamn. Nadu Winged Wisdom. 1 neutral, 1 green, 1 blue. Well, I love the border. Feels so weird though. Flying. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put it in your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. Huh? Okay, so it's ramped that you don't have to draw for it. In a sense. No. This is a good card. This is a good card. What the hell? First and foremost, 3 mana for a 3/4 and it's flying. That seems pretty great. Even though it's like I guess kind of a weird mana cost. But I mean, if this is your commander, you're pretty happy with this. Creatures you control. So this has it because I guess it's a creature. So whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. So this card basically reads, I'm spending 3 mana for a 3/4 that's flying. If someone targets this, I have the chance to get more mana, and then I just replay it the following turn.
Yes. It also triggers off your own targeting.
I can picture your face.
No, that's not fair. That's so unfun. What the fuck? That's so strong. That's so strong. This is, oh my god. No, this could single-handedly win the game. The real question, okay, again, competitively, I'm not even looking at that. Casually, I mean, if Soul Ring isn't banned, this is virtually the same concept, but you're probably getting more mana that you like colored mana, I guess. I'm not sure if you like it more because it depends on when you build, but you're also drawing cards. Like, it's a win-win no matter what. You like cards? Yeah. You could do this yourself? Yeah. Could you, if I target this and I get a land, can I tap that land immediately?
Yes, it doesn't enter tapped, which is surprising.
Gross card. Okay.
It also gives the ability to all of your creatures.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm still processing that.
Okay, so in standard, I would hope to God this card is good. Like, there's no way it's not. In commander, I mean, that's a very, very, very powerful effect. And if it's obvious to people how good that is, then this card's probably bannable. But is it as obscene as something like Leovold? Like, hold on, let me go read Leovold again. Do I think this card's better than that? Oh, it's so tough because you're like, instead of stopping your opponent from playing the game, you're playing the game. Like, you are the one playing the game, because that's so much, man. And you're thinning your deck, like, and potentially if you high roll, like, you're getting so much mana, and then the more mana you get, the more you could draw, even though it's twice per turn. I mean,
it's also not technically drawing, so it's funny to me that in the head-to-head, it would get around Leovold.
Oh shit, you're right. You just put it in your hand.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Totally different from drawing for some reason.
There has to be like a semantic reason that they did that, right? There's no, I don't even understand. I mean, okay, objectively speaking, I think the card's very good. I don't think it's banned in Commander. But again, I can understand why it would be, but I don't think it is.
Okay. This one I really was excited about. Nadu Winged Wisdom is another card that has not been made for standard. This is made in a modern set. So it's going directly into the modern format and older format. So it's designed for high-powered formats.
Okay.
This card was just released in Modern Horizons 3. This card is a couple weeks in competitive play old.
Okay.
It is currently not banned.
Okay.
It is the hot button issue at the moment in a number of formats, including Commander, because of many cards and many combos, one of which I'm going to show you a card right now. This card went from being like a $1 card to right now buying it is like between 20 some and 30 US dollars because it has the equip ability 0.
Oh, yeah. So it's like 0 mana to draw like a land.
Yep.
Play it immediately.
Yeah. To either ramp land or put cards in hand.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
you can move it from creature to creature to creature. So every new creature you play has this ability too. So you just keep going. And it's really interesting, and some of this is coming into play. Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation. Boom, game is over. Shuffle up and play a new game if you want to. That's apparently fine. Paradox Engine. Untap stuff, retap it. Untap stuff, retap it. Untap stuff, retap it. Not fine, right? This card is much more of a Paradox Engine than most cards that are legal right now, because attach, look at top card. Is it a land? It goes on battlefield. Is it not? It goes in hand. Attach again. Look at top card. Is it a land? You know, on and on and on. And already in the competitive landscape, there are both decks in Modern and Commander that are performing really well at these early events that are all about this. Just endless target, trigger, target, trigger.
Yeah.
And can do it very early in the game. This card, I think, is the hottest card on a watch list in a long time for a ban. And I wanted to see what you thought of it before any format, any company has made a decision on it.
That means a good card.
It's a good card. It's a really good card.
It's very smart. I guess they put this ability triggers only twice each turn. Like that's probably really smart. They added that at the end. But
honestly, I hate that. Because if it didn't say that, you could just go and the game would end. Tracking it is hard. Like, you have to remember exactly which creature has been targeted and how many times.
Wait. I'm sorry, I misread that. That means per creature it procs twice?
Yes.
Oh my.
Per creature.
I read that as that as like across all of them you can only do it twice.
Each creature you control while this is on the battlefield has exactly that ability in quotes, which means for each creature it procs twice.
Dude, that's that's disgusting.
Do you wanna like forecast? What are you, Socrates? Would you like to tell us if this card is going to get banned in the near future?
It's definitely leaning towards it for sure. Based on what you're describing, that play pattern sucks ass. Like watching someone do that, like that's fucked. Like that's so miserable. Because like if you're anyone who understands card games, you already know looking at this card how powerful it is, and you're putting this as your commander, I would imagine. So you're playing this card to start ramping immediately, and it only pays dividends. Like this card is never bad. It's never bad. So like I would imagine that based on what you described earlier, like with other cards, it almost follows the same sequence. Which is like you play stuff, you do it again, you keep going. Like theoretically speaking, right? I guess if you have multiple minions, like you could ramp like 6 lands in one turn, or just draw 3, ramp 3, and then play your cards that you just drew. Like that's disgusting. No, it's disgusting. No, it's so good. What the hell? What the hell?
I predict it'll be the first card banned in the last. I think it's been 3 years since a ban, something like that. I think it will. I think it will break the streak. I think it will. I think this has too much Paradox Engine to it, and that it ends the game without ending the game, and it takes forever, and it's absolutely no fun whatsoever to be involved with.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they. No, it's. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I didn't realize they do it that infrequently, but I understand why, because it would suck to buy something and then like lose the value of a card immediately if it was banned or something. But yeah, that card's broken. That'd be, again, just like Leo, it would be played in literally every single Hearthstone deck it would be available for.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Yeah. That was the last card I have to show to you. I have a quick story I want to tell you from Command Fest Atlanta, and depending on your reaction and if you enjoy it, it may make it in the video. Do you have like 10 minutes for me?
Yeah.
So, as you know, I am Mesa Falcon guy.
Okay.
So I went to Command Fest Atlanta. I was actually there with Voxy. Voxy was right next to me at our signing when this happened. And someone came up to me and asked me to sign their Mesa Falcon, which very happy to do. It's not the first time, but you know, there's been a handful of people asking to have their Mesa Falcon signed lately. So I did. And then this person showed me their deck and said, pick a card in the deck and the Mesa Falcon will replace it. And I looked at their deck, and it was lots of creatures, tons of creatures. And Mesa Falcon, as you may recall, is a terrible creature. But this deck also had like 5 or 6 board wipes in it, you know, blow up all creatures. And I'm scratching my head like, I don't get it. So I took out one of the board wipes, an OG called Wrath of God, that just, you know, 4 mana, destroy all creatures. And I said, you have too many board wipes, take that out, put the bird in. And they did. And then they said, I've never lost to a content creator. And they started listing all the content creators that they had beaten, including Voxy, who was right there, who got very upset. And she said, you have to play him, me, that we have to play each other now because he was talking too much shit. So we went and we played a game. And in that game, it was very close, and it came down to just he and I. It was a 4-player game to start with, but it came down to just he and I at the end with very low life totals. And in the final turn, he drew a card, looked at it, and then conceded and said, you've got it. And then revealed to me that it was the Mesa Falcon. If it had been the Wrath of God, I would have probably lost the game. And that is how I weasel tunnelered somebody in Commander.
Oh my god. That's pretty fucking awesome. That's awesome. Weasel tunneling someone in Commander. Please tell me you said that directly to Voxy. Did you say that right to Voxy?
She was sitting right next to me when it happened.
Oh, okay.
Oh
okay.
Yeah. She knows. She knows.
She knows. That's awesome, dude. That's fucking awesome.